Hi there. Right, today people, we are going to be doing a video on Variacs and a couple of other little projects we've got going. There's one project that is actually over there. It was my self-extinguishing spark gap, but obviously I can change the electrodes in there, and it is now a Jacob's ladder. I will show you this running at some point. I've actually got it running with the black round thing to the left of that timer that you can see is an infrared sensor, and basically it's going to be, the sensor's going to be outside at Halloween, so that when people walk past my house it sets the Jacob's ladder off, and the timer will only allow it to go off for 10-20 seconds say. The other thing is, you saw the paralleling choke that I built some time ago now, a few weeks back, and basically it wasn't correct on how I'd shown you how to do it, and I've got two of these 8 amp Variacs. There's a bit of change been done to it. I've made a cover and I've put a box on the front here, but really and truthfully that box needs to come off. That box needs to come off and that needs mounting in there, but I've got another one of those, so I'm not really too sure what's going to happen with it. I'm going to probably keep one for a phase shift control, so that I can make a synchronous rotary gap at some point, but that's another project that is. Right, so paralleling transformers, I'll go into it a little. Right, the diagram for a paralleling transformer is let's try and get a bit of a close up on that. Camera's not loving it today. Right, there we go. So here we have the output brush of a Variac, and there we have an output brush of a Variac, and that is basically, it says choke, that is a centre tap choke. Now the way I've done one before is, I've remade this by the way, you'll be able to see it now. Basically I'd wrapped the wire around, and I've changed this because I've upgraded the cable, purely because I've got different plans for it now. But basically I had 2 wires going round, and I was using the same, so say the first one's coming in with short, and the last one's to come out, which are these ones wrapped round, were longs. What I was doing was I was using 2 shorts, 1 short going to one Variac, 1 short going to the other Variac, and the 2 longs joining together. Now I had a couple of comments and a lot of help from HighVoltageProjects and Ride Fast Zero, and they've actually helped me out and made me think about things a little. Ride Fast sent me a really good email explaining a few things to me, and Sparky spent a few evenings drawing some diagrams and showing me what to do, so thank you guys, and thanks Steve as well, Steve Lane, because if it wasn't for you I wouldn't have even known I could have done this. But basically I'm trying to explain it quite simply. What you have to do is you've got the 2 coming in and you've got the 2 coming out, okay? So one comes in from this side, so if you had 2 separate colours, say you've got a black and a red, okay, I know that's positive and negative, but just for simply reasons, you've got a black and a red coming in, you've got a black and a red coming out. Now you use 1 red from one end and the black from the other end. They go to your Variacs, and the 2 that are left over, so it would be 1 short if we were explaining it as 1 long, 1 short, and 1 short, so you'd have a short black and a long red. They would join together and would make the centre tap choke, okay? So if you've got any questions about this, because I know it's a bit confusing because I've used the earth wire, and guys, you shouldn't be using earth wire, because I've had it pointed out to me that it's someone could come along and think that it's earth and touch it and cut into it and not realise it's live. So for that reason I have coloured it in black, and I will be making a sticker saying variable live voltage, beware. So that's quite sort of simple. Now if you've got any questions, or I didn't explain that well enough, I can do it again. I could possibly even make a small one with separate colours, so you can see exactly what I'm trying to explain. Now you'll see this here. I was going to link up to 8 amps with a parallel choke. I've rewound it with 10mm cable for a particular reason. Now I'm going to zoom out here a bit. You've all seen my big Zenith Variac, 6 brushes along here. It is turned up. It's because I've actually been playing with it this morning, not with it turned on. I've just been looking at things. I've actually had it here because I've been checking out the brushes, and there is a reason for that. That reason is because I have been comparing it with my other Zenith. I had this delivered last night to me. I had a chap drive for 3.5 hours in a van, just come and deliver it, and then he had to drive 3.5 hours back. So I now have 2 matching Variacs basically. Now I used to pull 60 amps off of my one, and I've actually got the catalogue for these Variacs. This is the same Variac that Ant has as well. This is one that Ant has in the cover, but they are actually the same. His is a Type 50, I think it's Type 50M. Yeah, it's a Type 50 BM is the one that Ant's got, which means it's a 240 volt and it's in a cover. Now the ones that I've got is exactly the same, it just doesn't have a cover. But as you can see there, they made stacks of them, and that is why where is it? This Variac, oh god, I'm on such a zoom, has these bars on it because it was part of a stack. But I don't plan on doing a 3 stack like in the picture there. And you can see at the bottom there's a picture for the 3 stack as well with all the dimensions. So yeah, I plan on making a 2 stack, because as I say, I've actually pulled, I know it's really bad. It's not really bad, because I keep an eye on it. It's never got hot, it's never got even warm, to be honest. The Variac hasn't. I've actually pulled more than 65 amps off of it running transformers and stuff, but I always keep an eye on it. But to lighten the load, should we say, and to give me the possibilities of more power in the future when I can get my control unit done, I've got my switches that I use for my ballasts. I've still got my switches and my ballast to put into my control unit, but the plan is to move. So as soon as I move, all that unit will be took apart anyway, and it will all be, hopefully when I can find one, be put into a metal box very much similar to Ant's. I mean, that was my first plan to do with it, but to physically have a big metal box sitting up in my bedroom when I've already, when I've got a shelving unit that I've got to stick to, is impossible. So that's what's happening. So I'm not sure when I'm going to be stacking the other Variac on top of there. I've got to get a shaft made. Well, I say made, I've got to go and just get a piece of metal cut to go through the centre of both of them. The choke's already built, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem. But I don't know whether I'm going to bother doing it or not until after I've moved. So yeah, the only other thing that you guys might want to see, now I'm well aware that I haven't finished the Tesla coil. I was building it. It is actually finished, but I have nowhere to run it. That would be that one there. Okay, so I have nowhere to run it because I was planning on running it from those 4 neon sign transformers up there with the shunts took out.